Shabbat Shalom to all of you. I am glad that some of you were able to get together. This week, and let me tell you, we are in this portion called Korach, and this is the ending of the first 2 years of Israel at the Har Sinai and the mountain of Sinai. In this place, basically, the Creator has been forming this new Israel coming out of slavery. And there are things that have been happening during this period of time. We are going to be able to see something, how the real people are. You know, we have this idea, and sometimes I think it's the wrong idea, that we're trying to idealize people instead to look about how humans they are. Israel is like anybody else, a group of people with good sides and bad sides. Not all the time they were correct or perfect. In certain religions, they trying to bring this idea of perfection, in which supposedly your goal is to become perfect. You know, in the Christian religion, there is a term, a bad term, by the way, used to me in having mistranslated or misunderstood. The portion in which Yashuv, our great Rabbi, say, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. The word perfect is not used at all. What he's using is in the book of Vayikra and Leviticus, in chapter 3. Verses 19, chapter 19, verse 3. I'm sorry, confused. Where he say, you know, basically he say, Kedoshim Tigyu. In other words, you shall be holy as I am holy. But it doesn't say, be perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect. And why is so important to make a point there? Because they have taken this idea that we are obligated to a state of perfection, where it's not there at all. Totally the contrary. The Creator, when He made us as human beings, and He gave us His likeness and image, He also gave us a side of the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Ra, the possibility to do right and to do wrong. And He gave us what I would call it the Vehirah Hofshi, the possibility of free will to make decisions for our own. We can look for excuses, and that has been always in humanity, looking for excuses for what we do. Somebody made me do it. Somebody forced me to do it. Somebody was the real cause of why I acted in this way. And very few take responsibilities for their own acts. You know, in the Torah, we are going to see great men, and then we are going to see how they take responsibility. To me, the first one was in chapter 37 in Bereshit, in Genesis, when Judah, you know, when he was confronted with his situation, with sin, he acknowledged that he did wrong. No, he didn't run away. The same thing we are going to see with other great leaders in Israel. But never ever we have found a leader that is perfect. This idea of perfection is totally a mystical idea made up to try to make something that is not there. We as humans, we are not perfect. Then we are committing mistakes, and all of us, we have our own shortcomings. The Torah He's going to teach us over and over again, especially in the book of Vayikra, in Leviticus. He's going to tell us about the system about coming back to the Creator. I always say to you that our God is the God of the beginning again, because He gives us opportunity after opportunity to come back to Him. But here is the key of everything. Each one of us, we are responsible for our own acts. We cannot blame to somebody else, or we cannot throw our fault to somebody else. We need to confront our own faults. And that's called Teshuvah, coming back to the Creator. Then, in this period of time, when finally Israel is out of Egypt from slavery, there is a process of forming the people, ordering the people. The Creator is treating them like a babies at the beginning, gives certain things for them to continue in order that they are not drastic changes. Many of the things about the worship and all this system that the Creator allows to Israel to continue is in order that they do not make a drastic change from overnight. It's going to be a process. I am always tell you, when you're born, you're a baby, you grow up, and you're growing up and you're changing with the time that you're growing up and you're learning. Not everybody was born as a wise person or knowing everything. And not any one of us know what is going to happen to us in the future. We walk, and this is a walking sometimes through faith and through the circumstances. Then, in these 2 years of forming Israel, comes also the disagreement among the people. There is a midrash in the Talmud that is very interesting. It's about talking about Korach. You know, the name Korach is interesting because the word, the shoresh, the root of this word means cold. Somebody that looks like that sometimes is so cold that is frozen. No? And he has a situation that we can say that will be almost logical if you were humans. He sees himself passed by others. And before he left Egypt, according to this midrash, he was a lord in Israel. He was a big boss. He was the one that did the changes, represented Israel with the Egyptians about how many people will work, how many people don't work. He was a representative of Israel for the slavery. And he made a lot of money. He was very rich, very wealthy. And he was one of those that left Egypt very reluctant because he had a good life in Egypt. What to go back? What to leave Egypt when he didn't even know where they were going? No, and he was already established. Then they're going in this journey, and suddenly he sees that his cousins, Moshe and Aaron, are in the top. That Moshe is the big boss, and Aaron is the little boss. And then when they divided the tribe, they divided the Levites, the Leviim, and he belongs to Kohat, and to the family of Kohat. Only to give you a very quickly, but to understand. Levi has 3 sons, okay? Gershon, Kohat, and Merari. Now, Gershon was the oldest one, Kohat was the middle one, and Merari was the youngest one. Now, from Kohat is that all the problems come. Gershon and Merari, they were happy. They had their own rules and orders that they needed to follow. But what happened with Kohat? Kohat has 4 children. Okay? The oldest one was Amram. The second one was Ishar. The third one was Hebron. And the youngest one was Uziel. And I am giving you the order in order that you're going to see about Korach. Now, Korach is the firstborn of Ishar, the second son of Kohat. Okay. And Ram, being the firstborn, received double portion. Moshe Rabbeinu is the leader of Israel, and Aaron is the leader of is the priest, the leader of the religious causes of Israel. Then, for one reason or another, and only by the will of the Creator, the leader of the tribe of Kohat is named Elzaphan, okay? Elizaphan. And who's Elizaphan? He is the son of the youngest of the family of Kohat from the Uziel. And then he went, Korach said, at least I'm going to be the leader of the Kohatites, because now my 2 cousins are the leaders now of Israel and the priesthood. Now at least I'm going to be the leader of my family, the Kohatites. And who is chosen to lead this group? Elzaphan. And Elzaphan is the son of the youngest brother of Amram, Ishar, and Hebron. It's not right. That already had a problem. Now the other 3 who supposedly start this parasha, Datan, Abiram, and On, what it has in common with Korach? They were the children of Reuben, from the tribe of Reuben, and they have taken away from them the privilege of the firstborn. The same thing with Korach, the same thing with these 3. And there was a resentment, a very obvious. You know, why you have chosen them? And then they go to Moshe Rabbeinu. By the way, they know exactly who is Moshe. You know, they have seen him before even the deliverance from Egypt. They have seen that he talked to Pharaoh. They have known that he, before many years, he was in Pharaoh's castle and palace, and all those things they knew about Moses, and they respected Moses. But what about Aaron? Look, Aaron already has failed to the Creator. He was the one that did the golden calf. He was not too strong. He didn't oppose. And here comes Korach. I am the man. I am the one that needed to be at least the high priest. That's what the Midrash tells us. You know? And that desire created envy, jealousy. He wanted to be something that he was not named. And he couldn't accept a secondary position. Now, I have always say to people that one thing that I dislike it terribly is when people put words on my mouth, or they say something that I say that didn't say. Basically, many people interpret whatever somebody say, and sometimes the interpretations are not completely true to what the person has said. And one of the biggest problems that I have seen many times is half-truth. You will be surprised how the religions of this world are full of half-truth. They don't tell you the whole thing. They want to tell you only what is convenient to them to make their point. But they don't tell you about the truth. Let me read to you first what the scriptures say in Vayikra, and to tell you what Korach say in Bamidbar. In Vayikra he say the God, our creator, blessed be his name, he say, Ve'amarta alechem kedoshim tiyu. And I want to say to you, as the children of Israel, I say, you shall be holy. Okay, that's what I say in Vayikra, in Leviticus 19:2. Now, in Numbers 16, this is the parasha that we are reading, verse 3, what he say is say, look at what he say, Lechem ki kol ha'adat kulam kedoshim. Basically what he say is, this is what he say, he say, everyone shall be, all the congregation of Israel shall are holy. This is little difference. Looks like that is the same, but it's a big difference. In one, the Creator say, you shall be holy. It's a process. Korach say, all are holy. Little difference, no? But it's not true. There is a difference. And he put himself outside of this statement. Like he already higher than everybody else, and he is defending the rights of those who they cannot get the position that they deserve, because Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron get it for themselves. And here comes the problem. Basically, in verse 11 of chapter 16, Moshe Rabbeinu said, what do you have against Aaron? Do you want to be priest? And here comes another confusion. Moshe Rabbeinu realized that Korach, what he wanted was to be the priest. But he take this idea against himself. Why? Because he felt in some way insulted or put in a situation that he needed to defend himself. You know, when you do something, if God has asked you to do something, you are not the one that you are choosing. It's God who tells you to do this. And then they blame on Moshe that he did it, he put his brother. No, he was giving the order by the Creator. Korach is going to accuse Moshe Rabbeinu that they are abusing the position, they are exploiting the people, and at the same time, they are a little groupie, and that needs to be opened up. And he is going to make a democracy. And democracy means that majority tells you what to do. No any longer the Creator is the majority. No? And Moshe Rabbeinu reacts. That's the problem. Sometimes he has his temper. And it's going to come a series of situations that you can read it. And instead to repeat it all over again, only to give you this point. Korach suffered the situation. Datan and Abiram, they suffered the situation. 250 of the big names, the elite of Israel, suffer, there is a lot of death. There is a pest. There is a virus. It's a COVID. The COVID of the time. A lot of people die. And they accuse Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron that they were doing that. And they were the only one that intervened and intercede for the Creator to stop the plague. The question is, why men do not learn from all the things that are there and they are obvious? Look at what happened with Israel, and look at what happened with Korach and these 250 people with a very great name in Israel from the 12 tribes. Each one of them has seen the power of God. They have seen how God has worked in Egypt. They have seen how he opened the Red Sea. He has seen when he brought manna, when he gave it food, when he brought water. And still, they were complaining and they wanted to change the status quo in which the Creator has given to them the order. Why this time of situation? And what is producing with this? Anarchy. And this is going against the established order. You know what? I was reading this, I was studying for this portion, and I was looking about what is going on here in Canada, in the United States, about those protests, that instead to bring the things in order and to make it right, this is only destruction, chaos. Because they do not want order. They want confusion. And who are the ones that they are doing that? There is very few people who they use what we call it demagoguery. They speak words, half-truths, to convince the great multitude. And the problem here is that most of those people that are convinced look like they don't think for themselves. They are like a herd. They are followers. Like the Creator didn't give us brain to see and to think. We are people of convenience. And if somebody offered me something that looks like very good, I'm going to take it. Without even checking if that's true or not. We are all equal. This is the problem about what we call the theory of democracy and the theory of equality. You are honest with yourself. Your life has the same value than any other life. But your position cannot be the same than everybody else. Because all depend many times about your situation, about the way that you are, or how you coming from. And yet there are a lot of injustice in the world, and little by little they are being repaired, as we can see. But equality doesn't mean uniformity. Equality means that all of us will have the same value, but we don't have the same things. Not everybody can be Hagadol Kohen. Not everybody can be a high priest. There is only one high priest. And if you don't have the conditions to be a high priest, even if you want to, you cannot be. Today, we are making laws that doesn't matter if you have the conditions or not the conditions to do certain jobs. Because of your situation, they put you in the things. And that's what is wrong. Everybody needs to have their place and the role according to what the person is, according to their studies, according to their experiences, according to what the person is. Not to make it different with the people because of the color of the skin or because of where they come from or what is the background. If the person has what it takes to do their job, welcome. But of course, that we in a society, I will be naive to say to you that we do not have still the problem about injustice, and that we do in this world. You know, we select people not by their merits, but we select the people by who I like it. And that's what is wrong. But that's not God. That is us, human beings. And we don't need to destroy the world to make it right. What we need to do is to be clear that there needs to be an order. And what is wrong needs to be rectified. And the only way that we can do it is when we bring leaders that they can have the capability to do what is right. I'm going to give you an example that I don't want to sound too political, but this portion is very political. Okay? And I'm going to give you, because statistics are very important. Just in the United Nations in 2018, there has come that more than 10 million of people are slaves. Slavery is alive. And sadly enough, slavery has most a certain group of people. But there is slavery in all the 5 continents. There is slavery. And they need to be stopped that. That's wrong. And interestingly enough, most of the countries that practice that type of slavery are the so-called countries that are progressive liberals. Why? Because in that mentality, there needs to be only an elite who govern the world world. And this elite are the one that has the last say for everybody. In communism, there is a saying, everybody is co-equal. And I added co-equal miserable. And only the elite is in the top. They are the only one that don't suffer. The rest suffer. Korach did demagoguery. Israel was going, okay, and they were going to go to the promised land that was offered by the Creator. Everybody had a place and a position. Nobody there was starving to death. Everybody was eating well, everybody had their own place. What he didn't have was the power, the ego trip that he needed. Today, we are suffering the same situation. Leadership is not any longer, the politician is not here to help and to serve. The politician needs to build their own ego trip and to be served. Go to any office that belongs to the government to ask for something. And the people who are working there are serving you. You are their bosses, literally, because they are working for the government and you're paying your taxes to have them to serve you. You go there and they treat you that you are their slave and you are their servant. They treat you like they have all the power and you don't have any. The things are backwards. And we need to learn about changing. This story about Korach is to show us that even when the Creator is there, in the middle of Israel, we are going to have people that are not satisfied with what they have. They are not happy with their place or the position. And they want more. Beautifully, in the United States, there is a system. They say, number one, number one, number one. And that is a problem. Because it can be only one number one. Instead to work together, to help each other, we start putting obstacles to those ones that they can be close to us. Korach is teaching us something more. In the French Revolution, 1789, I think, you know, what they were trying to bring? Equality, you know, they call it equality, fraternity, and the other one is equality, fraternity. You can help me.
Liberty. Liberty?
Liberty. Thank you. That was the most important. Liberty, equality, fraternity. And what they did? They kill everybody with the guillotine, no? And they cut a lot of heads. And what was after the guillotine? There was chaos. And needed to come nobody less, no more than Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay. He needed to become another dictator to put everything in order. Look like that we as people, even today, where we are living, we are not happy to have an order, government, order system. We need somebody to tell us what to do. We need somebody to mistreat us and to treat us very hard. You know, the Chinese people are very happy. The Russian people are very happy. Do you know that right now Putin is trying to pass a law that he can be now the premier until 2036, I think. In other words, forever. In China, you cannot protest against anything because they cut your head. And go to these wonderful countries like Cuba and Venezuela. Okay? you are going to be the most miserable person in the world, but you are going to be happy because you are equal to everybody. Miserable like everybody else. Viva la difference. No? Then, it is time that we open our eyes. The Creator, I start telling you that He didn't make us perfect. We have a lot of shortcomings. And when we start, we need to begin with ourselves. No, don't look at your neighbor. Not like Yeshua say, don't look the little thing in the eyes of your neighbor. Look at the big log that you have in your own eyes. Start with yourself. What are the areas that you need to make it right? Why you are like that? Do you envy anybody? Because supposedly took your job or is better than you? Or because he has and I don't have? Lo tachmo. You know? Deny the commandment. Do not envy. Do not wish anything from the others. Are we going to the direction that we want to go? Or we are very unhappy with ourselves and we are trying to blame others for our own situation, that we cannot obtain what we want? The Torah is teaching us something practical today. It's good to talk about Korach. But right now, Korach, a long time gone ago, what we need to look about Korach's effect to see in ourselves. I envy somebody else because that person has more than me, or I envy that person because that person has my supposedly the job that I would like to have, or I envy that person because, you know, that person is always happy and I am very unhappy. This is why you need to look at yourself. You know, justice begins with you. Tzedek tirdof. Justice you must pursue, but first of all, you need to start with yourself. How are you in your life? How are you in your home? How you are in your work? How you are in the community? Are you part? Or you are isolating yourself and you don't want to participate in anything? And instead to constantly complain why I don't have something, why you don't try to do something about it? This is why it's so important to read the Torah for today, not for 4,000 years ago. Is there something in me that's holding me back? Is something in me that doesn't allow me to be who I want to be? Don't look outside. Look first, begin with yourself. You know, when I tell about the people about the Ten Commandments, very few people understand the Ten Commandments, about how the Creator gave it to us. He divided in 3 groups, and I call it the middle is the hinge. You know, the 3 first were directly in our relationship with the Creator, and the 5 endings were in relationship with our neighbors. But the middle ones were for us. The first one was about the Shabbat, because we need to take care of ourselves, rest. And the second is honor father and mother. And that has to do with mishpacha, with family, with your loved one, the people who are close to you. And then you can look at your neighbors and you can have a relationship with the Creator. When Yeshua was asked this simple question. He said, Rabbi, what are the most important commandments in the scripture? And he said, love God with all your heart, with all your being, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. You know, this is the hinge. In order to love God, you need to love your neighbors. In order to love your neighbors, you need to learn to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love your neighbors? And if you cannot love your neighbors that are close to you, how can you love God that supposedly is ephemeral? That you cannot touch it. This is a check-up reality. We need to learn to check ourselves. Sometimes it's very beautiful to talk about the weather. It's very beautiful about the harmony. It's beautiful about talking about love. It's beautiful to talk about those niceties. And we miss the greatest point. Because the Creator didn't make us perfect in order that you and I will work on that. In that way, in this working for ourselves, we are going to find the possibility to work for others, and working for others, we are going to find our Creator, to have a relationship with Him. There are too many people, I'm sorry to tell you that maybe among ourselves, that we say, we love God, but I have hate against everybody else. We love God, but the only one that cares about me and my family. The rest, I don't care where they go. And this is reality. See, reality check. It's time, I say, to stop being religious and to be ourselves, to have a relationship with the Creator in the way that the relationship starts with me. Last week I was talking about this relationship between Yashuv and Caleb, and they were called by the Creator. And I mentioned another thing from Yashuv. Yashuv said, many shall be called, few will be chosen. And many people didn't understand that, and do not understand, or don't want to understand. The calling is extended for everybody. But it's only you and I alone that we can make that calling a reality or not. We are the one that will respond. Why? Because the Creator gave us Bechirah of Pshi. He gave us free will. Then we cannot blame our neighbors for my actions. We cannot blame the government for my actions. We cannot blame anybody else, because once I am clear with myself, everything else falls in place. That doesn't mean that I won't fail to God. Doesn't mean that I won't do any more wrongs. This is the reason that it's a process of growing and coming back. But what it means is that when you are growing and you're going in this spiral, going up and up and up, you're going to go back to areas in your life that you already have gone through, but you are in different level. and a different way of understanding things. You don't need to be fanatic. You don't need to be totally limited in what you believe. Totally the contrary. You can open your eyes and your heart, because the Creator has a lot of wonderful things for us. But let's not fall in the trap of Korach. Let's not try to be somebody else that we are not. Let's try not to get another position that we don't have. Totally the contrary. Let's be the best that we are. Because the Creator, the only thing that He has given to us is ourselves. And that's what we need to work with. May the Lord bless you and have a wonderful Shabbat.